What if I told you a 5'3" player once humiliated a 7-foot NBA legend? Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not, and moments like this happen more often than you'd think. But how does someone so small pull that off? Who are the short kings behind these moments? And why do these unbelievable matchups keep shocking everyone? Well, stick around till the end to find out. And of course, our first matchup is someone getting dunked on. Denver Nuggets rookie Ty Lawson, all 5'11" of him, was known for his speed and not his dunks. But one night, against the Lakers, Ty decided to shock the world. He blows by his defender and charges into the paint, where 7-footer DJ Mbenga is waiting under the hoop.
That unselfishness became contagious. Oh man, Ty Lawson.
And for the next one, it all starts with a crossover. Allen Iverson sizing up a 6'11" shot blocker one-on-one. The barely 5-footer Iverson, standing at 6 feet tall, fearless, and very quick, is no stranger to ankle breakers. It was the late 90s in Philadelphia, and Iverson catches the ball on the wing with Marcus Camby, who is a shot blocking specialist and future defensive player of the year guarding the rim. Iverson drives hard, crosses over, and explodes baseline. Camby is a near 7-footer with long arms, able to block anything, but Iverson launches up and throws it down right on his head. Just after that dunk, years later, Camby would lead the league in blocks, but on that play, he became a victim. The Camby dunk was impressive, but our next 5-footer took things to another level. Speaking of little guys dunking on giants, let's talk Will Bynum. At just 5'11", Bynum was a spark plug guard known for his hops. And in 2009 with the Pistons, he delivered a slam dunk so explosive that it almost woke the neighbors up. Literally. Facing the Charlotte Bobcats, Bynum took a pass in transition and saw a 7'1" Tyson Chandler between him and the hoop. Chandler, who was a defensive powerhouse and a future NBA champion, thought he had an easy block coming. But Will Bynum had other ideas. He launched off the floor and threw down a thunderous one-handed dunk all over Chandler. That slam ignited the Pistons on a big run, and Bynum's legend grew. Post-game, even 6'11", Charlie Villanova joked he hadn't seen someone so small dunk like that since Nate Robinson's contests. It was vicious, it was loud, and it was yet another reminder. If you're a 7-footer, you better think twice when a little guy is fearless enough to challenge you at the rim. Now, dunking in the heat of an NBA game is one thing, but how about on the biggest stage with a giant literally standing in as a prop? That's where Nate Robinson comes in, the 5'9" insane dunker. By 2009, Nate had already made a name for himself, but in the 2009 slam dunk contest, he faced 6'11" Dwight Howard, aka Superman. Dwight Howard, who was the reigning dunk champ, brought out a Superman cape for his dunks that year. Not to be outdone, Nate put on a neon green Kicks uniform and matching shoes, dubbing himself Crypto Nate. And then it happened. Howard stood in front of the rim, essentially becoming a human obstacle, and Nate Robinson leaped over Dwight Howard's entire 6'11" frame, one hand on Dwight's shoulder for a boost, and flushed a two-handed dunk. The building went berserk. A 5'9" player cleared a nearly 7-foot center in a Superman cape, and smashed the dunk home. Nate brought the house down and won the contest, literally hopping around in celebration. It was one of the most memorable moments in dunk contest history, but he played along. Although dunks are flashy, but sometimes the most soul-snatching plays are about pure skill and nerve. Let's shift to a play that didn't even require touching the rim, yet it was just as humbling for the giant involved. Picture 5'5" Earl Boykins, one of the smallest players in NBA history, going one-on-one against 6'11" Hall of Famer Tim Duncan. In 2011, it was Bucks vs Spurs. Duncan, who was a 5-time champ and defensive star, steps out to guard Boykins on a switch. Tim Duncan's nearly 1.5 feet taller, and he raises his long arms, basically daring Earl to shoot. But Earl is crafty. He jukes once, Tim doesn't bite. He ball fakes twice, Tim still doesn't move his feet. The clock is at 2 and 1, and finally, Earl pulls a slick up and under move, slithering under Duncan's arm. Tim jumps to contest, but it was too late. Earl flips a high arcing underhand scoop shot off the glass just before the buzzer. It drops in as the horn sounds and the crowd goes crazy, while Tim can only shake his head with a weird smile. It was a picture-perfect circus shot, a 5'5" guard using his brain and finesse to outscale a 6'11" legend. But that's enough of finessing, let's talk about blocks. It's one thing for a tiny player to score on a giant, but to stonewall a giant shot at the rim, that's the ultimate embarrassment. And who better to start with than Allen Iverson again, this time on defense. You heard that right. Iverson may have been known for breaking ankles and fearless drives, but he had defensive hops too. In his rookie year, Iverson found himself guarding none other than Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon on one play. Hakeem, a 7-foot offensive juggernaut and one of the greatest centers ever, caught the ball in the post against Philly. Iverson sneaks around, and as Hakeem rises for a short jump shot, AI springs up and swats the ball.
Nice fake by Hakeem. Made the move. Watch how quick this young man is, though. He was right there to swat it away.
The 6-foot guard actually blocked the 7-foot legend from behind. Now, truth be told, Hakeem was just shooting a jumper, not a thunder dunk, and Iverson might have gotten a little lucky timing. But who cares? Anytime a guy who barely scratches 6 feet tall blocks a 7-foot Hall of Fame center, it's a pretty big deal. And from one Hall of Famer to another, let's move to a true giant, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, Shaq was 7'1", 325 pounds in his prime, an unstoppable force in the paint. He usually delivered the punishment down low and not the other way around. But then along came 5'9" Nate Robinson. We've already seen Nate fly over Dwight Howard's head, but believe it or not, he also met Shaq at the rim in a real game and won. In the late 2000s, it was Knicks vs Cavaliers. Shaq gets the ball under the hoop and goes up strong for a trademark two-handed stuff. It should have been an automatic dunk, but out of nowhere, Nate Robinson flies in and stuffs Shaq at the rim. Even Shaq looked shocked for a second, as if to say, did that tiny guy really just do that? Robinson had no business even contesting Shaq, but his 43-inch vertical and fearless attitude made the impossible actually happen. But the very same season, Nate Robinson delivered what many call the most infamous block in NBA history. We're talking about the time he went up against 7'6" Yao Ming. Yes, you heard that right. 7'6". Yao was an actual giant, even among NBA bigs like Shaq, but with soft hands and a high release that guards could only dream of reaching. But Nate has never cared about odds. In a Knicks-Rockets game, Yao received a pass under the basket and turned to flip in a point-blank shot. Normally, this is where the 5'9" guard just watches and maybe tries to swipe at the ball low. But for Nate, that wasn't it. He jumped off 2 feet and met Yao at the rim, blocking the shot fully clean.
Yao was upset he didn't get it that time. McGrady bumps. Big.
For a split second, the entire arena was confused, saying, did that just really happen? Because Yao is 7'6" and he practically raises his arms and is at the rim. And yet, Nate Robinson is giving up 21 inches in height. Now, we've seen some crazy short over tall moments, but remember that hook from the start? It's time for that powerful payoff. The scene was April 1993, Charlotte Hornets versus New York Knicks. On one side, the Knicks franchise superstar Patrick Ewing, a 7-foot Hall of Fame center with a deadly turnaround jumper, and on the other, Muggsy Bogues, the Hornets' 5'3" spark plug, the shortest player in NBA history. This is the biggest height differential ever on an NBA court. Muggsy literally stands 21 inches shorter than Ewing. It's like a kid guarding a grown man, and yet what's about to happen will defy every bit of logic in the game. Muggsy is lurking on the weak side, and Ewing makes his move. A quick spin and that trademark fadeaway. As Patrick fades and releases the ball, Muggsy times it perfectly. He explodes off the floor with his 44-inch vertical leap and swats the ball out of the air. Muggsy Bogues blocks Patrick Ewing. That is crazy. But what you also didn't expect is that YouTube thinks you're gonna like the video that's gonna pop up right now, so click on it. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day. And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, please, as it means a lot. Thank you. Bye.